Sousa writes in Marching Along that the idea of a private band was proposed to him in April of 1892 by David Blakely, the man who had just arranged for Sousa's wildly successful tour with a Marine band to the West Coast. Blakely offered to quadruple Sousa's salary and give him 20% of the profits from the band's activities. The very next day, the Washington Post published a lengthy article lamenting the possibility of Sousa leaving. The loss of Sousa means the loss of the Marine band, it being naturally expected that if Sousa leaves, he will take with him such of the players whose terms of enlistment have expired, and others will follow in due course. And that's exactly what happened. We know that the initial title for this private entrepreneurial band was Sousa's Marine Band, but the Navy actually objected to this, and so it was shortened to Sousa's Band. Although Sousa talks a bit about the challenges of finding bookings in the early days, we get the feeling that he would very quickly dissolve the differences in the minds of the larger public between the public and the private ensemble. In a very real sense, Sousa's band was literally made possible by the emergence of America as a military world power, and his musical reinforcement of that new reality told foreign listeners that American power was here to stay. It's no coincidence at all that events such as the Spanish-American War of 1898 and the Boxer Rebellion of 1899 to 1901, which marked the beginning of major American military interventions throughout South America and around the globe, coincided almost exactly with the 1900 through 1905 four European tours. In fact, the band in 1910 made a world tour. What was a world tour in those days? What did that mean? Well, you started in England, of course, and then you would have had to do Ireland and Scotland and Wales. Now you've done the United Kingdom, but then you got on a boat for almost 3 weeks and went down to South Africa, where you played in Johannesburg and Pretoria. They considered that all of Africa. And then you got on the boat again and went for more than 3 weeks to the island of Tasmania. How many of you know where that is? That's that little island just off the southeastern coast of Australia, right? And they played Sydney, Melbourne, all the major places in Australia. Finally, then going to New Zealand, as you might imagine. Sousa loved New Zealand. And then finally to Hawaii before coming home to the West Coast. So they really did go around a somewhat selective and very white-oriented globe. Now, Sousa's band was a concert band. It marched in only 8 parades in 40 years. This picture was actually taken in Germany during the first tour in 1900 of Sousa's band. We see here actually about 60 players. It's like Where's Waldo trying to count all of them, but give it a try yourself and I think you'll agree. There's 60 people here plus Sousa. Well, how many instruments did Sousa call for in a modern concert band? In Marching Along, Sousa states that today the wind band consists of, now you can count up, keep tabs, 4 flutes, 2 piccolos, 2 oboes, 1 English horn, 2 bassoons, 1 contrabassoon, 2 alto saxophones, 2 tenor saxophones, 1 baritone saxophone, 1 bass saxophone, 20 B clarinets, 1 alto clarinet, 2 bass clarinets, 4 cornets. Those are the money melody instruments of the group. 2 trumpets, 2 flugelhorns or added cornet, 4 horns, 4 trombones, 2 euphoniums, 8 basses. And he means double basses, like orchestral double basses. Yes, indeed. They were there for Sousa's concerts whenever possible. 1 harp, 1 timpani, 1 small drum, and 1 bass drum. If you do the math, that's about 71 instruments, many of them integrated into this ensemble by Sousa himself. He actually believed the concert band to be superior to the symphony orchestra because, as he argued, if you listen to symphonic works, all of the good parts are in the winds and brass. Now, Sousa himself had mixed feelings about patriotism. At one point he wrote, "Now, patriotic songs are inspiring only on patriotic occasions. At other times, their appeal is purely perfunctory." But in a discussion of his philosophy about the march, Sousa writes, "A march stimulates every center of vitality, wakens the imagination, and spurs patriotic impulses, which may have been dormant for years. I can speak with confidence because I have seen men profoundly moved by a few measures of a really inspired march. But a march must be good. It must be as free from padding as a marble statue. Every line must be carved with unerring skill. Once padded, it ceases to be a march. There is no form of musical composition where the harmonic structure must be more clean cut. The whole process is an exacting one.